So if you guys aren't aware, Ross Ulbricht was pardoned by President Trump, and this is bullish, my friends. So Silk Road founder in 2015 had been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Trump made the announcement via a Truth Social post and later via, obviously, Twitter and all of that. President Trump has followed through on one of his key campaign promises, at least for those in the cryptocurrency community, pardoning the sentence of Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht. Now, we'll go over, a little bit more here. I'm sure we'll go there'll be more here. One of the things is that's evident is that this was the winning ticket to get the Libertarian Party vote, right? And that's because I think a lot of libertarians are pretty big fans of Ross in particular. And if you heard when Trump announced that at the get together, the become ungovernable, if I can even say that word, get together, he basically got a roaring standing ovation. And so I think this had a lot to do. I mean, there was so many factors and so many good moves, but I think it had a lot to do with winning this particular election. So Trump said, quote, "I just called the mother of Ross, William Ulbricht, to let her know that in honor of her and the libertarian movement," there you go, "which supported me so strongly, it was my pleasure to have just signed a full and unconditional pardon of her son, Ross," Trump wrote on a Truth Social post. The move assures an imminent release for Ulbricht, who in 2015 was convicted of engaging in continuing criminal enterprise and distributing narcotics, along with a host of related crimes via his operation of the darknet Silk Road marketplace. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and his case has become a cause celebre. I don't actually know what that word means. Can I click it? For many in the crypto community. I just think it's probably like, I suppose, a cause to celebrate in the crypto community. Who know he did not himself sell drugs or other illegal items, but instead operated a platform where others were allowed to transact. Then candidate Trump promised a day one commutation of Ulbricht's sentence last May while addressing the Libertarian Party convention. The price of Bitcoin rose in the minutes following the news, possibly as the pardon, along with a flurry of executive orders over the past hours, signals the president's intention to follow through on campaign promises. Another one of those promises was a far friendlier crypto regulatory stance, including the possibility of the creation of a strategic Bitcoin reserve, which and this is what I was saying yesterday, what I've noticed is it seemed that in Trump's first term, there were two problems in particular. One, he didn't seem to be able to execute all of the campaign promises, which I think we could say that's with every single candidate in the history of the United States, right? That's not anything special, but also, he wasn't friendly to crypto. And what's crazy is at least the actions of the past few days have proven that he's flip-flopped on both of those things, where it seems like he's going to act on almost as many of his campaign promises as possible, and he's positive towards crypto. I am very bullish on this administration's approach to cryptocurrency, and I am super excited to see how freaking crazy this bull run ends up with support from the US government. I mean, it's getting so nuts that there are now, if we go to CoinGecko, there are now, there's a spot for made in the USA cryptocurrency because it's going to be considered good to be a US based crypto. And that is something I never thought would happen, right? So yeah, I never thought that would happen. Like, it actually may be like a positive to be a cryptocurrency that is based in the United States, which would be just cool. So we'll give you a little background on Dread Pirate Roberts, which is Ross's pseudonym that he used on the internet. And basically, he was sentenced in federal court to life in prison in connection with his operation and ownership of Silk Road, which is a hidden website designed to enable its users to buy and sell illegal drugs and other unlawful goods and services anonymously and beyond the reach of law enforcement between January 2011 and October 2013. The sentence was announced by Preet Bharara, U.S. Attorney of or for the Southern District of New York. Ulbricht was found guilty February 5th of each of the 7 charges he faced following a 4-week jury trial. Make no mistake, Ulbricht was a drug dealer and criminal profiteer who exploited people's addictions and contributed to the deaths of at least 6 people, he said. Bharara. Ulbricht went from hiding his cybercrime identity to becoming the face of cybercrime, and as today's sentence proves, no one is above the law. It's really funny to read this in hindsight. So do you guys think Ross is above the law, or do you think that he was wrongfully sentenced? I think there can be a sliding range of this too, right? You could say, well, the life sentence was too harsh. There was a lot that went on with this in particular. Silk Road basically was one of the reasons Bitcoin took off, though, too. So we do have to credit it for that and credit crime to a certain extent. What's really funny about that is in the history of technology, what you do find is the really big innovations hit crime and pornography first, and then they blow up into the public domain. And that's what we're seeing happen again with cryptocurrency. History kind of rhymes, as I've said before, right? So that was the reason he was sentenced. There was some, speculation surrounding being framed for trying to hire people to basically unalive other individuals. And I don't think that went anywhere or got looked into deeper at all. I don't know if we'll hear his point of view on that later on in the future. I do lean libertarian, so I think that, people should be allowed to do whatever they want to do unless it affects the rights or safe or health of another individual, right? So I am kind of one of those guys that would be like, basically make drugs legal, at the end of the day, but, don't make murder legal, right? That's the line I would draw. Now, would I actually utilize, drugs personally? No, unless there was like some benefit to some other, I know there's like the psychedelic benefits. I don't know much about that, right? I haven't participated in it, so I don't know to what validity, Rogan has or, any of those guys have on how helpful that is for different things. I know there's the talk of ibogaine for PTSD, etc. I wouldn't jump into all that, but at the same time, you should be able to test all of those things so right? And I think we have stifled innovation within the medical space by banning a lot of things, and we stifled other industries that obviously hemp, for example, grows very well in the United States, and that could be a massive export that we're just throwing money away because of this war on drugs, which seems a little ridiculous to me. I know that's changing, of course, and all of this is a changing atmosphere, especially with Biden, with Biden out of office and Trump in office now. It'll be really interesting to see where all this is headed. But that's my opinion. Now, that website had more than that available on it as far as like hitmen and so on. So what parts of those should be regulated or not, I think could be discussed. The other question, though, is should you be responsible for providing a service? You know, we went over this with essentially all of the social media sites and so on, where they basically are able to absolve themselves of anything posted on their website while also being able to regulate it. Hopefully that gets overturned as well. But it's not like if somebody posts something on your website that is against the law, at what point are you obligated to take it down before being an accomplice to whatever crime that was, right? I think at the end of the day, they have had a bunch of talks surrounding that, but I don't think you can hold Silk Road completely liable for all of the drug trading that went on, because that doesn't make sense, because it wasn't the individual himself doing it, right? It was a service. But it is pretty crazy. Josh said, years ago, I did a lot of research on hemp, tons of research all day. So you know a lot about it, huh? Let's see. You've had buddies go to jail for much less, says Tonto. Alice says, I've seen Biden's walk for much, much more. Well, and that is kind of the funny part to this quote on this particular sentencing, right, that we read earlier, where he said, where was it? No one is above the law. Yeah, I don't believe that anymore. I don't believe that to be the case ever. I don't think I've ever believed it, but that statement is a joke, right? Because we know the reality of things in the United States are that if you are powerful enough and influential enough, you are to a certain degree above the law. And if you're rich enough, you are above certain laws, right? Like, let's say you make millions of dollars a year and you get a speeding ticket. Who cares? It doesn't affect you. But if you're working at Dollar General as a cashier and you get a speeding ticket, that can bankrupt you and you won't be able to pay rent for the month. So there's tons of people above laws, and it's a sliding scale, and the whole discussion is ridiculous to even say that. It makes me think that he's not a smart individual and shouldn't be a judge. That's my opinion. And then here's the picture of him coming out of prison. So if you guys are curious, he's up there. He does have a Twitter as well, which you can go follow if you're interested. I think I did link it in the description, so go check it out. Some people are having a bunch of conspiracy theories around the plant, but I believe the plant is a pretty traditional gift coming out of prison, if I recall correctly, for like representing new life and all that. A new start, right? So I don't think that there's anything crazy behind the plant, but if you have a good conspiracy, I'll definitely hear you out on it. Tactics, you want me to start over? No, I can't start over. I'm sorry. I was stumbling hard at the beginning, though. I don't know what happened. I got all excited. I was doing like jumping jacks and stuff, and then I sat down. I was like, my neural link disconnected for a second, and I couldn't function. You know, sometimes when that neural link disconnects, I have to. Was it like what was Musk at the inauguration? I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Show. If you would like to see more from this particular episode, take a look up here. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support me directly, you can go to sonofatech.locals.com and become a member. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday.